Attention to education because the government flagship free senior high school policy has once again come under the radar. We know Asante Otumfuo said to the second has said implementation of a program has put a strain on the public purse despite increasing secondary school enrollment. In a speech at the University of Memphis in the United States of America, he described the policy which has come along with its job creation challenges. A bold one. He has also been courting the support of a university for collaborations with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
When we ascended the Golden Stool 23 years ago, we proclaimed education as the ultimate priority of our reign. In furtherance of our priority, we established a foundation to support the education of children from poor backgrounds. It has become so far the largest private intervention in education in the country's history and has provided for students who would otherwise have been deprived of basic education, among them persons who have risen to serve as ministers of state and justices of the courts. Now the current government has introduced free education up to senior high school, which now ensures that all Ghanaian children from whatever background are guaranteed free education. Considering the value of education to the nation, this must be one of the boldest policies of the nation. But it also brings its challenges. It puts a huge strain on the national budget and raises further challenge about the creation of jobs for the increasing number of graduates. I'm sure the brilliant minds assembled here in this audience and beyond will be reassured that Ghana is on the right path, able to weather the storm and sustain its chosen democratic path, and deserves a fulsome support and collaboration from the United States of America. I look forward to initiating collaboration between your university here and our premier University of Science and Technology, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, in the sciences and entrepreneurship development. I thank you all for listening to me.
So you heard that the Ashanti King speaking at the University of Memphis in the United States of America. But what has been government's commitment to the free senior high school program since it was initiated sometime in 2017? Let's just take a look at the figures. So in 2017, a total of 480 million Ghana cedis was allocated to the free senior high school program. The next year, which was 2018, it increased to 1.3 billion Ghana cedis. Then in 2019, it increased further by some billions to 1.6 billion cedis. In 2020, 2.4 billion. And then there was a slight drop, 2021, which was 1.9 billion. But it went up again in 2022, which has so far seen some 2.3 billion cedis, allocated to this. And over 1.2 million beneficiaries have so far been chalked as a result of implementation of a free senior high school program. That's according to figures that have been captured by the Ministry of Finance's own, website, as well as their budget statements. But let's have a conversation around this. Kofi Asare is Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch. He's joining us. Thank you, Kofi, for joining us. So I know you've been doing a lot of work, in this area, researching whether or not the commitments the government has been making to free senior high school is sustainable going forward and whatnot. From what we heard the Asante King speak about, of course, it's been a drain on the public purse. Of course, it's creating a job creation challenge. But beyond these, what more?
Well, the King, say good afternoon to your cherished audience. The King rightly nailed it right on the head when he indicated that the policy is a progressive one. Within 5 years, it succeeded in enrolling more than 550,000 more students at the secondary level. So in terms of equitable access, it is providing opportunities for capacity building, career expansion in career development opportunities, and also largely socio-economic transformation if we are able to guard the outcomes of the policy successfully. What the issue really is that the framework within which the policy is being financed, continues to raise issues relating to financial sustainability because like every social policy, this policy should have targeted those who really need the state's funding.
Right.
It is not just for the sake of targeting, but targeting is for the sake of ensuring that we optimize the little resources we have and raise enough funding to guard the outcomes of the free senior high school. As we speak now, we are producing about 430,000 senior high school graduates a year. I mean, about half or less are going to tertiary. Less than half are going to tertiary. What happens to the remaining half? There's pressure on government to expand job creating opportunities because and you cannot expand job creating opportunities without funding. So if we are able to optimize resources at the secondary level by ensuring that those who have the capacity to pay are paying and those who are in need are actually enjoying the free senior high school, you have a situation where we will save funding and use this funding to support job creation of interventions of government so that the outcomes of the free senior high school will be guarded. Let me give you an example. As we speak, about 25% of the beneficiaries of the free senior high school are private junior high school candidates. We have said that one of the best ways to ensure equity in the finance of the free senior high school is to ensure that candidates from private junior high schools pay their fees. And we are talking about a maximum of 2,100 Ghana cedis for boarding students and a maximum of about 1,200 cedis or 1,300 cedis for day students a year. That is the free senior high school. Now, this average is more than the average 1 year fees of a junior high school candidate. So it is reasonable to project that once you're able to pay your junior high school fees for 1 year in a private school, you should be able to afford 1,200 Ghana cedis a year for day students or 2,000 cedis, 2,100 cedis a year for boarding students in the free senior high school. If we do that, what we'll be doing is that we'll be saving about 500 million Ghana cedis every year to support government job creation initiatives. Last year, 500 million cedis, if you want to find out what 500 million can do, last year we spent about 130 million on 1D1F in the budget. 500 million is about 4 times what we spent last year on 1D1F. That's a huge amount of money. So we are not just talking about targeting for targeting's sake. We are talking about targeting to support the Ministry of Finance, raise more cash within the quantum available for education development so that the outcomes of the free senior high school, the 430,000 plus students who are graduating from secondary school, who may not be able, majority of whom may not be able to progress to tertiary, will have something in terms of job creation support to build their employable skills and then integrate into the world of work so that it reduces the unemployment burden on the government.
I'm sure you remember some time ago during, the PEJASI meeting, there was a lot of talk about the review of some of government flagship programs, etc. Government came out to say, well, free SHS is not one of those. Now you're making these proposals for, some of these adjustments. It doesn't look like government is ready to take in some of these, proposals. So what really are the practicable options else available?
Well, yes, it doesn't appear as if government is ready to tinker any way with the free senior high school or any of its flagships. Not only free senior high school, the free allowance for teachers and other flagships within the education sector. From where I sit, because of the political implications to the ruling party, it doesn't appear government will listen to all this, even though government appreciates that that's the way to go. What we can do as stakeholders is to keep reminding government that it is better to target a social policy, save more funding, and use the funding to support job creation efforts in the midst of 15 or almost 16% unemployment rate. You need money to create more jobs. So if people have the resources to pay their fees, let them pay their fees. Raise some funding from that, and then use it to support the outcome of the free senior high school, which is more or less creating job opportunities for senior high school graduates, especially who are unable to continue tertiary, and by extension, for those who require support to enter tertiary and those who complete tertiary but require job, job creation support. That will more or less helping government to solve its own problems that it is unable to solve.
Great. Thank you very much. Kofi Asare, Executive Director of Africa Education, was speaking to us there. By the way, we know that some 7.62 billion Ghana cedis was expended on the free senior high school over the last 5 to 6 years it's been in force. Also, we know that out of the amount, some 4.18 billion, represented some 54.76% sourced from government of Ghana, while the rest has been from the annual budget funding amount.